The 59th Annual Conference of the Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHASS, was under the theme Discipline and Child Rights in Our Senior High Schools, the Fate of the School Head. In attendance were headmasters of various senior high schools across the country, representatives of various teacher and education unions, and other stakeholders in education. Various speakers who touched on the theme of the conference were of the view that perhaps the withdrawal of corporal punishment in senior high schools needs to be reconsidered.
Today, the GES has banned caning and all forms of corporal punishment in our schools. The question is, what have they replaced it with? Today, non-performing students cannot be repeated or withdrawn from the schools. Students with bad and questionable characters who should be withdrawn to allow those who want to study in our schools remain in our schools.
Delivering his address, the president of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, Alhaj Yaqub bin Abubakar, said the level of indiscipline in senior high schools was getting to the point where school heads feel that the prohibition of corporal punishment emboldens students to misbehave.
From breaking common school rules, students are now involved in use of hard drugs, pushing down school fence walls, and engage in physical fight with implements like knives and cutlasses, inflicting serious cuts on themselves. Vandalizing teachers' properties like cars and farms are common occurrences.
CHASS is not against the policy of prohibition of corporal punishment.
But we also feel that this prohibition has emboldened the students to misbehave. Are we in the dilemma of spare the rod and spoil the child?
He also touched on issues of lack of funds for senior high schools.
It is well over 4 years that the recurrent rates were fixed for the running of schools. CHASS have made several efforts by preparing comprehensive notes on the recurrent rates and asked for an upward adjustment of the rates with proposed figures. Yet we have not generally received attention from the Ghana Education Service Management. What is even serious is the delays in the release of funds for recurrent expenditure. This has made the plight of these schools very serious, as they do not have any source to run their schools.
Delivering the keynote address at the conference, the Vice Chancellor of the C.K. Tedam University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Professor Eric Magnus Wilmot, entreated the headmasters to find other ways of instilling discipline in students.
Establishing expectations, guidelines, and school or classroom rules for behavior in order to proactively prevent disruptions. So before the students embark on something that will disrupt the free flow of events in the school, proactively, let's establish some expectations, some guidelines for them.
Deputy Education Minister John Ntim Fojo, who attended the conference, addressed some of the concerns raised by CHASS.
It is not acceptable that our heads of schools will have to go through stress in feeding any child in any school, considering all these investments that have been expended and continue to be expended. Therefore, we charge buffer stock, national food buffer stock, to ensure regular and sufficient supply of food at all times to all schools in this country. Every child must be fed adequately, and heads of schools would not have to stress themselves in ensuring that our children are fed.
For Joy News, Albert Sori, reporting from Bolgatanga.